Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kenya if you are new here, and thank you so much for sitting down with me today. You guys, I know it has been a minute, but I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I thought I would just hop on here and kind of talk about some makeup history. Every day, especially if you follow Trend Mood, there are new releases from pretty much everybody, but there are ones in particular that release a lot. ColourPop. It seems like they have a new release every week, but I thought it'd be nice to just kind of talk about things that have come and gone and things that I have that are in my kind of archives, like makeup gems that I just can't get rid of but no longer use. If I find any cool or interesting facts or just release dates on these things, then I definitely will leave them on the screen or in the description in case you are interested. If you're like me and you are a makeup junkie, I love knowing facts about makeup and not just the fun part, which is the best part of applying it and wearing it, but I also like knowing about it, like cool things about how it's manufactured and knowing about the ingredients and things like that, or even if it's just like what inspired the palette in general or whatever. But most of the things I'm going to be showing are palettes. I think everything I'm showing is a palette. So if you are interested in seeing some things I no longer wear but are part of my archives because I just can't let them go, then I hope that you keep on watching. Makeup does expire. Powders you can get away with a little longer. My kind of rule is if it's changed texture, smell, appearance, or performance, I no longer wear it. But some of these things haven't done any of those things, but I know that they're too old for me to wear, but I just can't get rid of for whatever reason. So I'm going to start off with Anastasia because that is what I have the most of. These are palettes that were released long before Modern Renaissance. If you've just gotten into makeup in the last couple of years, then you may not even know about these palettes because they have long since been discontinued, but I have quite a few of them. I feel like I used to be such a collector of Anastasia, and in recent years she just hasn't really been doing it for me. Jumping into the first view here, her packaging has come a long way as her formula has, but this is the Catwalk palette. This is so, like, she didn't even have any of the information on it. There was nothing there. The names weren't even on the package. I want to say this was her third palette. Anastasia was mainly brows, and then that's when she started doing eyeshadow palettes. She had the, I think it was a She Wears It Well, I think was the first palette she did, which I do not have. And then she released the, I want to say Lavish Palette. I think that was next. And then she started doing this kind of format here. Y'all, this packaging is bananas. The mirror in here is like a funhouse mirror. It's not even usable. She has come such a long way, but I really at the time liked this color story. It's nice and neutral, and it kind of reminds me now a little bit of the Soft Glam. So I wrote the names in there because I want to say it was either on the box or on the little sheet. I can't remember because it's been such a long time, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have been collecting makeup or been into makeup, but I've been into makeup for such a long time that I have this, and I don't know why I can't let this go. I mean, it's still, to me, like a pretty cute everyday color story. Like if this came out right now, I know I didn't necessarily go out and buy it, but I can see a lot of people reaching for this color story just because it is pretty neutral. But I didn't understand why the print didn't match. Like we have this green and blue leopard print, and then it was like a rose gold and the, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't even say the name of the palette on here. I want to say this was probably her third palette at this point. And then she started getting into collabs, which would be, I can't remember who came out first. I want to say the Tamanna palette out of the ones I have. She did do another one with, I want to say her name was Mia. I can't remember, but I don't have that palette. She did start getting into collabs, and they definitely got better. Now we have ingredients, we have information on the palette. And I believe the names, yeah, and the names are on there as well. So I'm going to fold this back. And this one, I think this is still a really cute color story for every day. You've got a nice little pop of color if you want to jazz it up, but this was super cute. And this one I actually probably wore the most out of the three that I have in this older style. I think I wore this one the most. Just because these tones were like super up my alley. The packaging definitely got better with time. So, and then the last collab I have is the original Amrezy palette. She has a newer one with Anastasia, which I don't even know if that's still available, but I also have that. It's not archived since it's a little bit more recent, but this was the original Anastasia collab she did. And again, we have now the information on the back. It's giving you ingredients, cruelty free, the shelf life, which was 6 months. This one still has they all were coming with this, which if you have a Sigma palette, the ones that come in those I think are pretty nice, but those are really usable in my opinion. But these are just not my favorite. Could you use these in a pinch? Absolutely, but they're just not my favorite. The mirrors still aren't great quality, but they did get better from the Catwalk. That one was unusable. This one is definitely better. This one's neutral with your purple and green. Nice everyday palette. I still think this is a really cute everyday color story. I mean, I don't know, I just can't seem to get rid of these because even, you know, it's just interesting to see the evolution of Anastasia's brand. At some point I'm sure I'm going to get rid of these, but for now I keep these in my little archive. Every now and then I go through my drawer, I don't know, just kind of compare sometimes color stories, and I just also like looking at them. But moving on, this is still a palette that I don't know why, but it has a hold on me. This one's from Too Faced. This is the Pretty Rebel palette, and I don't know, this one still has me in a hold. I don't know, I like the packaging still. It's very like giving me dominatrix kind of vibes. I like it. This one has the information on the back. I wish that I would have used this more when it was new, because I like this color story. I feel like at the time it was quite interesting, because this came out, I want to say in 2015. So I've had this for such a long time, but I can't seem to like get rid of it. I like the vibes, but it also was at the time a little mismatchy for me. Now this is such a usable, in my opinion, color scheme. Okay, I like the colors, but it was like a little bit much. You have your neutrals, you've got your fun pop of pink here, you had your duochrome that everybody was doing, which was like Max Blue Brown. This one's called Girly. You have this nice little silver called Jailbird. I can't get rid of it, I don't know how. So yeah, I'm gonna move into one that's technically not in my reserve or like archives, but this should probably be in it, but I'm still trying to kind of use it. MAC. I haven't purchased from MAC in a while. The only things I purchase somewhat regularly are the Fix Pluses, which they are getting crazy with the prices. I mean, it's gonna be like $40 before we know it. But this is a palette that I made myself, and it has neutrals mainly, but there are kind of matte heavy actually, now that I'm looking at it. I don't know, I like this palette. I like that I was able to pick all my own shades out, and I didn't buy everything at once because I kind of wanted to figure out like what colors I wanted, and a lot of these were singles that I had, and I depotted and ended up popping them in here because after a while I got over the singles. When I first got into makeup, I loved singles. I had a ton of them. As time went on, I really got into palettes, and I ended up just kind of depotting everything and moving them into this palette here. So there we go. Well, there. So I ended up moving them into this palette. So some of them look a little crazy because the depot went a little awry, and so some of them had a little injury, but they're fine, they're in here. And then some of them I just bought as like pans, so those look good because I didn't have to buy anything. They do sell them, you know, as singles, so if you wanted to just buy without the pot, you could. I think this is all the shades I have. I may have one or two in a different palette, obviously because they didn't fit in here, but I'm still kind of using this one. One of my favorite shades I think I'm going to repurchase just so I have a fresh one is this shade called Honey Lust, and this is a lustre. Gorgeous. Mine is all messed up because she was in a pot and then I took it out, but oh, it's so good. I love it. I've actually used this a few times in the last month, and every time I use it, it looks stunning. So I think I'm gonna buy another one so I have a fresh one if this is still available, because it's beautiful. Speaking of MAC, this is actually I think my first palette from them. I had purchased this because I wanted one shade. They had this shade as a single, well not this exact shade, but a shade similar to this one. It was sold out and I really wanted it, so they talked me into buying this Hello Kitty palette. This is the Hello Kitty MAC palette. Y'all, this is from 2008. So you know I'm not wearing this on my eyeballs, but I kept it because one, I do like Hello Kitty still. Cute. And this is the blue shade that I had picked up this palette for because I wanted a shade that was similar to this. And yeah, still really cute and fun. I just didn't get a lot of use out of it. At the time I was really into singles and I wasn't wearing these shades that much. I think the shade I used the most was probably this pink here. I used to wear these type of pink shades a lot when I was younger, so, but I just can't. She's in the little archives. Like, how cute is she? I don't know why I keep these in here, but they're old Coastal Scents empty palettes. Coastal Scents has closed down. They are no longer in business, but I just have one of their old quads. They ended up updating these, but this is one that I had. It's empty, but I don't know why I keep this. I guess I feel like if I ever wanted to take just 4 shades with me, like I had a little palette, but I have other palettes that are sleeker. Like I have Z palettes. I'm not sure like why I keep this, but, and I also have their old like 12 pan. This one did come with a mirror, and as you see, it's empty. And then they updated their packaging, and I got the clear one, which is also empty. So I don't know why these are still in here. I don't know if I think one day maybe I'll have a bunch of singles and I'll just fill them up. I have no idea. Y'all, this is so old. It should not. I mean, this is old, but it's part of makeup history. These are Makeup Forever singles. They used to have the square packaging for the singles. It's purple. This was number, it's so old, the number is gone. It was either 92 or 26. I want to say it was 92. If I remember or I find it online, I will post it. But this had like a little window, and this does come out, I want to say. I think you can, I think it was magnetic, so I think you could take these out. But I think I had bought this. I think this is technically a blush, but I was so into purple back in the day. I mean, this is old. Like they've changed the singles packaging quite a bit over the years, but honestly, Makeup Forever I feel like is kind of not as talked about. I mean, it was very popular before, but yeah, I love this like Barney purple. So I kind of want to purchase, I think they still have a shades very similar to this. This one is from the drugstore. This is the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. Now this is still available technically. They still have the Comfort Zone, but they have since changed it, and I think the formula may even be different. But I remember when this was the talk of the town. I mean, everybody had this palette or was trying to get their hands on it. And for good reason. This is an all shimmer palette, but the formula on this, I'm gonna tell you that this was the like top tier of drugstore. This formula was top tier. Not so much the packaging, because you know it's at an affordable price, but the formula on this thing is amazing. Obviously now, I mean, I have mine from like literally probably 10 years ago, but like the formula was amazing. And I would say even now, it probably would still be really good, but I've tried so many different formulas that I can't even tell you, and I don't think the new one is the same. I do think they added some shades. They might have added some mattes to this. I can't recall, but I don't really buy Wet n Wild eyeshadows anymore since they changed formula, but I loved this. I mean, you can see, like, out of all the stuff I showed you guys, look what's been used. Look what has been used. I have hardly no lettering of the shade, which was I think brow bone, and then eyelid. Those were used a bunch, as was this green here. Like these 3 shades right here, these 3 I used a ton, and it looks like I even used a bit of this because the brow on there is kind of faded. So yeah, and then it had a classic blue brown from MAC type of shade in here, which was their definer shade. This was when they were really doing it. The formula now I feel like isn't as good. The last one I bought was like their newer ones, and I just didn't enjoy it. I ended up decluttering that one because I really didn't use it. Also, the color story wasn't very unique to my collection, but I really liked the shimmers at the time. Now I don't know how this would have compared to like new formulas from other brands like Indie or other mainstream brands, but at the time this was it, and they had so many. I mean, they had a ton more than they have now. I forget what was the other one. I think it was Petal Pusher. That was like the purpley one, which I want to say I did have, and I ended up decluttering. The last one, you guys, the Urban Decay Vice Palette. This one was their limited edition one. Listen, first of all, I love this chartreuse. I loved chartreuse back in the day, like a lot. But I love this. Like, I still love this packaging. Like, I love this. It's super simple with this raised UD. Gorgeous. And it has this, the only thing I hate about these is how bulky. It has this push button. You press that, and then you have this ginormous mirror. Mine still has the plastic on it. It did come with a dual end brush, which I still have. I actually still really like this color story, but these are just so bulky, and I just wasn't using these at the time when this came out. And I want to say this was like pretty expensive. This was like $58. I don't know if they did any more after these. This might have been the last one or the second to last one, but yeah. And then they kind of fell off with the Vice palettes, but they had several before this one, but this was the one that really like spoke to me. There was just some really pretty shades in here, like Disco, Provocateur, Last Sin, Road Strippers are really cute, like Duochrome. Crystal was really cute, Goddess. And then we had the typical pink that they were including in a lot of palettes. This one's in Junk Show. There is just like, I don't know, I still really like this. I still really like this color scheme, and I just didn't get enough use out of it. I think because it was so bulky, I kind of hated pulling it out. And also, Urban Decay was really, really shimmer heavy. I think if there had been a few more mattes in here, I would have gotten more use out of it, but there were just so many shimmers, and I'm kind of like not someone who will reach for something if it doesn't have everything I need. Now, that's not always, but a lot of the time, I like the kind of one and dones. But anymore, I'm willing to bring in another palette, but at the time I really wasn't trying to do all that, so I didn't use this as much as I would have liked to. But yeah, so pretty. I think that, I mean, I still think this is really pretty. And I love the packaging. The only thing is, like, it's so bulky. But yeah, I remember when the Vice palettes wore it. So that's all I have in my archives. I do have a bunch of old Urban Decay palettes that probably will end up making their way into it, like the original Naked and Naked 2. I decluttered Naked 3. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of taking a little walk with me. You guys enjoyed kind of seeing old releases, and let me know if any of these were things that you have never even seen or heard of. And like, would you buy any of these today if they were re-released? I'd love to know. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.